The war has already begun. It is just a continuation of past battles.
Nod-Krai was defeated after the grand experiment in Cimera, with the burning of Ermin's soul. Also, this is what he wants you to think. That is, however, an incorrect assessment. But rather, Nod-Krai is still out there, working towards something major. The first piece of evidence to back up such a bold claim comes from the most reliable gossip machines of Genshin Impact, the two Fatui agents at the teleport waypoint in Mondstadt. Their gossip from after the Archon quest True Moon implies that the Jester has given all of the Harbingers a role inside of a plan known as Project Stuza. In an opera, each character is given a role and the story is split into acts. An interesting part about opera, however, is the fact that it is heavily encouraged for people to learn the plot of an opera before one begins. During the early days of Genshin Impact, a teaser was released known as the Story Teaser Travail, in which a narrator, Dan Sleeve, gives the viewer a rundown of the different plots that are seen throughout the storyline, almost as if giving the synopsis of an opera. Operas are stories that are told to an audience primarily through different versions of song or music. Different people fulfill different roles, acting their parts to ensure that the play goes off without a hitch. In the Genshin teaser Winter Night's Lazar, Piero is seen playing a game of chess against something or somebody with the currently obtained nurses as of the end of the Inazuma Archon quest. This chess game mirrors the famous chess game of Deep Blue vs. Gary Kasparov, 1997. However, it features a modification that the kings and queens are swapped around. This was the first chess match where an AI won against a human. The current age of Teyvat has several different instances of artificial intelligence, such as Ben Mirak, certain dragons, alongside other creations. However, rather than the chess match belonging to an artificial intelligence, I believe it's safe to assume that the artificial intelligence side of the board refers to the heavenly principles. That is not to say that the heavenly principles is an artificial intelligence. I feel like that is a bit of a lame way to go about them as a character. Instead, I think it could be argued that whatever the heavenly principles is, it uses a form of artificial intelligence to watch over the world. During the world quest along the Envy Mountains, we meet these watchers and guards in the Temple of Space. While they seem to have the ability to have emotions and form free will, this doesn't necessarily mean they are not artificial intelligence, as we've learned from Natlan. In Teyvat and the surrounding areas, different locations obtain artificial intelligence through one way or another, but they, such as Anessa, will start to have the ability and capacity to develop emotions. An example of which is the main antagonist in the aforementioned world quest, simply playing their role in the story that they have penned in the opera for them. So what then if someone was simply unhappy with this fate? Out of the 8 different playable nations in Genshin Impact, the only one of these nations to not have been teased in the Travail trailer was Nod-Krai, which becomes more interesting when you pay attention to the themes of Nod-Krai and how they play into fate. Fate, or the script of the opera, dictates different people's lives, but that doesn't mean that fate cannot be changed. In fact, Linnea, Varka, Nod-Krai, and Columbina all participate in alternating the threads of fate during the Song of the Welcome Moon. The common link between all of these threads, however, is the involvement of the witness, or the traveler. As the fourth descender, they are not bound to things such as fate, like the inhabitants of Teyvat are. As a result, the original fate of Teyvat has already been shifted, allowing the final stages of Project Stuza to begin.